Okay, so we're following up on our conversation about emotions. And let's get this out of the way. Emotions are endlessly complicated. Emotions have been spoken about by so many different theorists, psychologists, philosophers. It's almost impossible to organize our thoughts on it, and simply there is no universally agreed upon theory of emotions. So, again, I follow along with Marshall Linehan's work because it's effective and it's useful. So, that being said, there are three different ways that we can talk about emotions. So, the first way is a basic emotion. So, if you imagine the color blue, a color shows up in your mind. That is an ideal color, and if you look around, in reality, it's not quite the same. So, if you notice, this color behind me is blue. Was it the same blue that you were thinking about? Or was it more like this blue or that blue? So, a basic emotion is a true emotion in the sense that it's perfect. It fits everything exactly right. Now, we know that that's not reality, but it's useful to help us understand. The next form of an emotion is a primary emotion. So if I'm sitting here right now and someone like barges through the door and comes in yelling and screaming, I'm going to feel fear. And that makes complete sense. It's valid. A primary emotion is when the stimuli in the environment directly correlate to a specific emotion. Now, we know that emotions can be both the cause and the effect. So, they bang through the door, that's the cause. The effect on me is fear. Now, fear can be the cause of perhaps another emotion, maybe shame, maybe anger, maybe sadness. So let's just say that you're a little kid and you're taught that you should be tough, and you're at school and people call you names and they bully you, and you become afraid. And then quickly you're like, wait, I can't be afraid on the playground. So quickly that becomes shame. Now, when it's an emotion about an emotion, the shame is a secondary emotion. It's an emotion about an emotion, or it's an emotion in response to an emotion. So if someone comes barging through the door and instead I feel, I don't know, happy, if I feel sad, right, they don't make sense. They don't line up directly. So those are secondary emotions. One of the long term goals we have is to experience our primary emotions for what they are, to have our primary emotions closely aligned with reality. When someone barges through my door, I should be afraid. When I think about an anaconda snake in the Amazon rainforest, presently I should not be afraid because it's ineffective. There are no anaconda snakes here. However, if I were there and there was a snake, on the boat I was on or in the house, then again it makes sense to be afraid. And you can see how primary emotions are effective. However, if I'm ashamed about my potential fear of that snake, right, that's a secondary emotion and it's not effective. It'll actually slow me down from living my life because there's no current risk of harm. Often, we have patterns, and later we're going to look at all the different types of basic emotions, and we're going to look at which emotions show up for us as primary emotions and which emotions show up as secondary emotions. And what you'll learn is you will have broad access to some primary emotions, and other ones will be blocked off. And then that will actually create for you quite the question of how to build a more authentic life and one that's better connected to the world around you.